My name is Amanda LaPlante. I was raised in a small town in Missouri, and I came to St. Louis about 20 years ago for college. I have a master's degree in communication, and I've worked as a media director, publisher, and entrepreneur. I'm active in my community. I love getting out to my son's Little League games, going to music festivals, dancing, karaoke, hot yoga, having tea with friends, and I love traveling with my family. But life looked a whole lot different just a few years ago. Over a couple of decades, I accumulated multiple diseases: Crohn's, Hashimoto's, anxiety, depression, just to name a few. I was carrying an extra 50 pounds and taking over a dozen medications every day. My Mother's Day card said I was good at sleeping. I wasn't showing up in my life the way that I wanted to, so I set out to turn my health around. After dropping the weight and achieving remission and getting back to being the mom that I wanted to be, a doctor of mine recommended that I study to become a certified health coach. I took her advice. In my coaching practice and on my weekly FM radio talk show, I connect with brilliant, inspiring people. I continue to transform my body, mind, and spirit, and I'm loving the journey. Now, along with my friend, culinary expert Haley Sohn, I'm inviting you to the table. Join our inner circle and be privy to conversations with some of the brightest minds and hottest influencers in health and wellness today. And you'll hear stories of hope and healing that will touch your heart and expand your mindset. This is Wellness Confidential.
Hi, how are you?
I am great. I am so excited about the show today.
Me too.
So I'm Amanda LaPlante, and today on the show, board-certified cardiologist Dr. Michael Twyman, MD, joins us to share his top tips for longevity and heart health. He'll also tell us about an audacious personal health goal that's driving him to explore the latest and most cutting-edge research in a field called biohacking. Then, registered dietitian Reshaunda Thornton will join us, and get this, she's a dietitian against diets. Right. So if you want to know how to keep momentary pleasure from derailing long-term goals, stick around. She'll also share highlights from her recent TED Talk and her new book, and she'll give us her top tips for mindset around food.
Are you sick of the same old boring salad? Join us at the end of the show. We're going to introduce a fun new way to dress up your summer salad.
I am so excited about that.
Me too.
Yeah, so stick around. Dr. Michael Twyman is a United States Navy veteran and a board-certified cardiologist at Apollo Cardiology in Clayton, Missouri. He was recently featured in the award-winning documentary Uninflame Me. He's an expert in preventive cardiology, biohacking, and he's set a big personal goal that has his sights turned toward the latest research on longevity. Welcome to Wellness Confidential, Dr. Twyman.
Thank you for inviting me, Amanda.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you here today. So I love this big personal goal that you've set. Tell us about it.
Sure. So the big goal is my great-grandma Ola lived to 106. She was born in 1893. She passed away in 2000. So it's my goal to try to beat her record. So I'm not even halfway there, but through biohacking and some of the preventative cardiology things I've learned in the past few years, I think I can try to match her at least.
So how does this goal play into the new cardiology practice that you're opening?
Sure. So I'm starting my own practice in August of this year. It's going to be focused on heart attack and stroke prevention. And there's some interesting new technology and interesting advanced labs you can do to tell you how old your arteries are and what you can do about reversing any disease if it's present.
Okay, well, let's definitely dive into that a bit more in this segment. But you also have, okay, so when you talk about preventive cardiology, what does that mean?
So cardiology generally is focused on after the fact. So you had the heart attack, you had the stroke, and you're going to need the pills and procedures to get back on track. But where my focus is on is trying to find out why that happened in the first place, work to the root cause, and either prevent it from happening again or working with patients so they never end up like their family members.
And I love that because root cause medicine has been completely transformative for me in my health journey, and I'm so glad that you're bringing that to people in this new practice, Apollo Cardiology, correct?
Correct.
Why did you name it Apollo Cardiology?
Sure. So Apollo was a god in Greek and in Roman times, and Apollo was a god of the sun. Also, he was god of healing. His son Asclepius was the god of medicine. So I'm very big into how light affects your health, and I just thought it seemed appropriate.
And that takes us right into the next topic, which is biohacking.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
So biohacking was initially coined by Dave Asprey, the Bulletproof Executive. My definition may be a little slightly different, but it's more just how do you optimize your personal environment for optimal health? And it's doing things other than just the traditional exercise, nutrition. It's getting into light hacking, sleep hacking, and I initially got into biohacking when I was taking a trip to Thailand about 2 years ago and was trying to figure out how to optimize the effects of jet lag not affecting me. So I got into these forums that talked about wearing special glasses that filter the light and would help you sleep better, and then hopefully jet lag wouldn't be as bad.
So we're talking about blue light glasses here.
Correct.
Okay, and that's what you have on today.
Correct, yeah. These are some of the most up-to-date versions of blue blocking glasses. There's a company that they make ones that are blocking. It's kind of nerdy, different wavelengths. These are 450 to 465 nanometers, so really helps with computers and the bright lights that we're sitting under right now.
Yeah, and those have come a long way. I've got to tell you, the fashion statement that I was making with the pair that I did have, my husband told me I look like a 70s card shark.
Right.
So, so by wearing something like that, we're able to change how light is being filtered into our body, and that does what?
Correct. So it goes back to your circadian rhythm, your 24-hour cycle. Light and the timing of your meals are the two biggest triggers for your circadian rhythm. And man evolved under sunlight, so your body's triggered in the morning time with sunrises to make hormones a certain way. And then naturally, when the sun set, you weren't exposed to certain wavelengths of light. Your body would get sleepy, you'd release certain hormones. Mainly people know about melatonin. Melatonin helps you sleep, but melatonin is also the hormone that helps your body regenerate itself at night. And melatonin will get destroyed if there's too much blue light from your technology late at night. So the optimal time to wear these type of glasses is in the evening time once the sun is set. Okay.
All right. And now with melatonin, a lot of people are just popping melatonin.
That might not be the best idea. So short term, if for jet lag, it's okay, but long term, it indicates that you have an issue with your release of melatonin. Your body's normally able to make this hormone, but if you're having trouble sleeping or especially staying asleep, it's many times that you're in front of your technology too late at night and your melatonin levels are low.
Okay, all right, so definitely something to be aware of.
Correct.
And be careful about. Talk to me about, I'm hearing a lot of buzz in the media lately about mitochondria. As a matter of fact, I was watching the new Men in Black movie a few days ago, and they even threw it out on the new Men in Black movie, mitochondria, and how meditation could help with that. Anyway, what are mitochondria and why should we care?
Yes, mitochondria, they're the powerhouses of the cell. They're little organelles. Every cell of your body, except a couple, have hundreds to thousands of these little power packs, and they're the things that make energy inside your cell. So if you treat your mitochondria well, they tend to provide energy for you. They used to be bacteria, and thousands and thousands of years ago they came together with these cells, and what we know as life today was formed. But the mitochondria, if they break down, where they break down is where you develop disease. And the places that have the most mitochondria are your heart, brain. So those are the two places that most people end up having diseases that end up causing their demise.
So it actually makes a whole lot of sense for a cardiologist to be into biohacking.
Correct.
All right. So you mentioned a quote to me recently, a man is as old as his arteries are thick. Can you test for that?
You can, and that's a quote that there's an English physician in the 1600s, that was his quote. It's also sometimes attributed to Sir William Osler in the 1800s. But you have 60,000 miles of blood vessels. Just looking at somebody, you can't tell them how healthy their blood vessels are, and you don't want to go for an invasive procedure just to figure out if your arteries are thick or unhealthy unless you're having symptoms. But there's a couple of non-invasive tests that you can do that look at your arteries. One test is called a carotid intimal medial thickness scan, or a CIMT. It's a special ultrasound of your neck arteries that tells you how thick the arteries are. Wow. And the thicker your arteries, the quote older your arteries are. So you want to have healthy young arteries. So if your vascular age is older than your biologic age, you may need to do some more things to help stabilize that new plaque. There's also a test that I frequently do called a CT coronary calcium score. That test looks for older, harder plaque that's in your heart arteries. You should have no plaque in your heart arteries, but if calcium is building up there, it's a marker that plaque is building up there.
Okay. We can't talk about, so I want to tie back to your goal.
Sure.
And we can't talk about living past 100 without mentioning one of my favorite books and studies, The Blue Zones.
Sure.
Tell a little bit about that.
So there's, Dan Buettner was the person who is the one that came up with this term originally. And there's 5 zones in the world that the people there tend to live longer than the average, usually 90, almost 100 years old. One area is in Sardinia, one's in Okinawa, one's in Costa Rica, one is in Icaria, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's another Greek island.
Sure, and then of course,
and then there's Loma Linda
California.
in California. And they do things that are a little bit different, but there's a kind of a core thing that they all do the same that really is probably the reason that they have that longevity.
Okay, and so what are some of the characteristics they have in common?
The main thing is that they have a strong sense of community, either family or social support. They have a sense of purpose. They tend to lead lower stress lives. They have daily movement, not necessarily hard exercise, but daily movement. And then they tend to follow a plant-heavy or plant-focused diet. They're not necessarily vegetarians or vegans always, but it's not a thing that the diet is the key. It's the whole package.
Okay, well, and you are the whole package, and I appreciate you being on here today. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
How can people follow you online or get in touch?
So I'm starting my new practice in August of 2019. The website is Apollo Cardiology. My personal website is michaeltwymanmd.com. And I'm also starting to get active on Instagram at drtwyman.
Very cool. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. Okay, so now we all have a better idea of what it takes to live a long, healthy life. So stick around, because after this break, dietitian Reshaunda Thornton will be here to help get our mindset right so that we can all go the distance. Registered dietitian Reshaunda Thornton is the owner of a nutrition consultation company called Better Vessel Nutrition. She has degrees in biology, psychology, and nutrition. She appears as the nutrition expert on Fox 2 News St. Louis, and she's the author of Play to Win, Your Fight with Food. She was recently featured as a speaker at TEDx in St. Louis, and I'm so excited to have you here today. Welcome to Wellness Confidential, Reshaunda.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me about, sorry, I feel like we chat so much
All
that
the
it's
time.
like, okay, add some lights, but it's just you and me. It's so
Yes.
good to see you.
You too. You too.
I love, so you call yourself the dietitian against diets.
Very true. Typically, you expect dietitians to be responsible for prescribing some sort of diet. In a hospital setting, yes, that's correct and it's appropriate, but unfortunately the word diet has having a negative connotation to it, and so I coined myself as a dietitian against diets because I know that we chase diets. We feel that diets are going to give us the happiness if it helps us to change our body. Instead of using that diets as a way to help people to change their health or be healthier, I choose to go against the grain of the way we think about diets. And I choose to help people to make choices more so out of how can they reflect themselves in a positive way. And so therefore, I'm against the idea of diets because honestly, Amanda, how many people have actually been successful in a diet? And I'm sure many people will probably say no.
Yeah, I think that's totally spot on, and I love that you're doing that. It's a much more integrative approach in terms of really talking about the relationship with food. Rather than just
Very
prescribing, here, eat this.
Yes, there's a disconnect. Whenever you are on an endeavor to lose weight, you try to structure it and you try to follow the rules, and as soon as you follow the rules and if you pass, then you feel you're successful. But unfortunately, that's short-lived. But what we don't do is connect with what we're eating. We don't understand what we're eating is what gives our body life, what gives our body longevity, versus just what's going to help us to lose weight.
Right.
And when you connect with what you eat, you actually start connecting with yourself because it's a part of who you are.
Yeah, and so what are the two, you talk about two ways that people interact with food.
Yes, so one of the ways that people interact with food is that they use food as a tool. So if it's needed to take certain calories out or to take certain food groups out or adjust their eating habits just to lose weight, they're only using it as a tool. And then once let's say they lost the weight temporarily, then they go back to the way they've eaten because they just did it for a reason. But they haven't actually looked at food as I said, as a part of who they are versus just kind of a tool. The other part is that I believe people sometimes don't realize they have a negative relationship with food. And that's, I call it an adversarial relationship. A lot of times we select certain foods, but before we select them, we may call them bad. Let's say there were donuts sitting on the table. And you'll say, oh, those donuts are bad, because you feel that that will be counterproductive to losing weight. But then eventually you have that donut, but immediately after you eat that donut, you feel bad. And so we unconsciously make choices by our foods. We unconsciously label ourselves by our food choices. So that's the adversarial piece to it, because we feel lack of control, we feel weak around certain foods, instead of actually building a partnership with what we eat. Because if you have a partnership with something, it's what's going to help you to move forward. It's what's going to be positive for your life. And so if we looked at what we ate as our partner, as our lifeline, then we could perhaps have a stronger or more productive relationship with it. So
yeah, so making choices around food that's going to fuel us, food, understanding really that, so what I always talk about in my practice as well, and I know this resonates because we've had this conversation, is you know, what's the long-term goal, right? It's not just that diet, it's not just that right now, it's why are you here? You know, what is your mission in life? What is your purpose? And getting in contact with that, and then using food to fuel that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you talk a lot about that. You had great points about that in your TED Talk.
I did. You know, I used the acronym WHY, because with anything in life, we have to have a why reason to why we do anything. So when it comes to your health and your foods, I choose to use why as in what honors you. So whomever you marry, wherever you decide to live, you're choosing what honors you. So
I love
if you
that.
choose,
So why? What honors you?
What honors you? So if you choose food that honors you, that's actually like bringing in self-love and self-care. But also choose what heals you, because as we know, nutrition, not food, is what gives your body life. It's what deters you from disease. It's what allows you to thrive in life. So perhaps if we choose what heals us and what honors us, that will give us a stronger reason as to why we're making changes.
So why? What heals you? What honors you?
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
What heals and what honors.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about your, well, when can we see the TED Talk? Do we
Well,
know?
It was done May 16th, so it takes a couple of months for the production company to edit the talks. And then once they edit it, it would be put on TED.com, which I'm very excited about.
That's so exciting.
Yes.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a book coming out.
I do. And as a matter of fact, the title of the book is Play to Win the Food Fight. The idea of playing to win with anything in life, whether it's your marriage, your parent, your career, you play to win. And so the book is actually a book of my teachings and my strategies I have done working with people throughout the years, and I have seen success in their long-term changes. So the book is really meant to go with you. It's meant to be functional. It's meant to have short pieces in there where you can connect to. It reminds you of something, but it also gives you enlightenment on, I never thought about that. But it provides winning ways to overcome the food fight.
I am so glad. I love the work that you're doing, and I just so appreciate you being here today. How can people follow you? Because you're gonna want to follow Reshaunda.
Well, glad you asked. So all the different social media platforms, Instagram, it's Reshaunda Thornton. I'm sorry, it's Reshaunda_Better Vessel. Twitter, Facebook, Better Vessel. So my nutrition company is called Better Vessel, so you'll find me that way. But you can also go online to ReshaundaThornton.com, and it's more interactive. You can see the videos, you can see the tips, you can purchase the book, and you just kind of can see what's going on within the next couple of months moving forward.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Amanda.
Okay, so after the break, we'll join culinary contributor Haley Sohn at the table for quick, fresh twists on an old healthy favorite, so stick around. Welcome back to Wellness Confidential. Haley Sohn is the founder and CEO of Basically It Meals, creator of the No Diet Diet Club, and she has degrees in nutrition and exercise physiology. She's a regular contributor on KSDK's Show Me St. Louis, and she's my dear friend. Haley, I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thanks so much, Amanda. I'm so excited to be here. So after I got my degree in nutrition and exercise physiology, I started working as a nutrition educator. My whole job was to go out and teach people how to eat for health, but I always felt like there was something missing, like a big disconnect between what I was saying and what the people in the lectures were actually able to implement in their lives. So if I'm teaching you to cook at home, how often do you actually have time to menu plan, grocery shop, do the cooking, do the cleanup, and eat? And you might have to do that multiple times a week. So you have a family, a social life, kids, a job, hobbies, and you're stuck eating oftentimes what's most convenient as opposed to what's healthiest. So it was through sheer coincidence that I ended up cooking for people. I was already cooking at home, and I had some coworkers ask me to cook more and sell it to them.
I wish you had been my coworker then.
I know. So that's when Basically It Meals was born. I took that little idea, and now we have a ready-made healthy delivery meal service right here in St. Louis.
And you always whip up the most amazing things. What are we making today, Haley?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So this is a fun way to use the best ingredients of summer. So we've got a ton of summer ingredients. Arugula is going to be the base for our salad. We're topping that with some fresh tomatoes. We've got raspberries, blueberries, some red onion, mandarin oranges, bell pepper, avocado. It's going to be delicious.
I'm excited about this. And so arugula, otherwise known as rocket, right?
Yes, yeah.
And it's got kind of a peppery flavor to it. I love arugula.
But it's great. It doesn't wilt in the summertime.
Right.
So it can sit outside for a while. Like if you're having dinner outside, be perfect for a patio meal. It's not
I
gonna
love
wilt.
meals that I can assemble without a stove.
Exactly. And this comes together so easy. This is really easy. You can add simple proteins to it. So we've got some nuts, some seeds, which would be great. You could do chicken. We came up with a really simple olive oil, vinegar, Dijon mustard dressing to go on top of it.
I love that because dressings are intimidating. I find that that's one of the ingredients, the key parts to the meal that people are really intimidated by, including myself.
Yes, yeah, I agree. But it really doesn't have to be complicated. It is as simple as oil, vinegar, and if you want, a little Dijon mustard to combine it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And so, okay, and then you've also got some artichokes, olives.
Oh, yeah.
What is this?
So we have some milled flaxseed.
Okay.
As you know, that is super good for you. And with the heart health tying all of that in, it's a great salad topper. It just has a nice nutty flavor to it.
Yeah, and loaded with omega-3s,
Yes.
plant-based omega-3s, which of course is great for heart health. A lot of us eat way too many omega-6s because of all the fried foods and the vegetable oils that we use. So it's a great way to rebalance that omega-6, omega-3 balance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and then over here, so you also said, so I noticed you've got some everything bagel topping,
Yes.
it looks like.
It is so delicious. It's good for everything, literally.
Okay.
Fantastic on salads. That has black sesame seeds in it, which I know you know about.
Which I'm a big fan of. So a friend of mine is into Chinese medicine. She's an MD, PhD, and she's always talking about how black sesame seeds can help to reverse aging. They're great for the kidneys, and she claims that they will reverse gray hair.
I've been eating
I'm not
them
making
just-
that claim, but
just to
I'm just
see.
saying I'm eating more of them just to find out. I want to know. So I think it's going okay.
It looks good.
It's going okay. So, and then we've got Cannonau wine, or wine made with Cannonau grapes. So these are from Sardinia, Italy. We talked about the blue zones in the earlier segment. And in Sardinia, Italy, which is one of the blue zones from that study and that book, which I highly recommend, they drink this particular wine. And it's extremely high in resveratrol and a few other wonderful heart-healthy ingredients.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah, so you've got some frozen berries, right?
Yes, yeah, that keeps your wine cold, especially if you're sitting outside in the summer.
Okay.
Frozen berries are great. You don't want to water down your wine with ice cubes.
Don't mind if I do.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. So yeah, I think that frozen berries are a great idea. It adds a lot of color. It adds a little bit of extra, a little bit of extra nutrition.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why not? Why not freeze your berries and use that as your ice cubes?
You can do it with anything. Grapes work too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we've got a challenge coming up for our
Yes.
viewers.
Amanda and I are so excited you've joined us for the fun at Wellness Confidential. We want to keep the conversation going. At the end of each episode, we're going to share a challenge. Join our Facebook group, Wellness Confidential, to see our summer salad guide, and Instagram at wellness.confidential to share your picks and thoughts as you complete the weekly challenge.
This week, let's take our veggie game to the next level by eating a salad every day. Be creative with your choices. Add nuts, avocados, seeds. Try different oils or vinegars in your dressings. Toss on some fresh berries and fruit slices. Add some uncured meats.
Now, you don't have to have a salad as an entree every day. A simple side salad will do.
Yeah, so show us your salads. Share your pictures. I know it's so
I
funny.
love it.
Just show us your salads. Share your pictures with us on social at wellness.confidential.
And be sure to join our Facebook group to grab the summer salad guide. It's packed with fun salad and homemade dressing recipes, including what you saw today on the Wellness Confidential. And be sure to share your favorite recipes and dressings with us because we love to learn from you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching Wellness Confidential. To your health.
To your health.
Yeah.